Okay, Islam the way of Beye. It is March 16, 2019. I just got through doing my reading at Whole Foods. It's Saturday, and I came out here. I got here about 11. I'm just now finishing, and it's approximately 1:04. I read the Constitution, many parts, some of the parts of the Constitution. I read the Holy Bible, Numbers, Matthew. I read the Holy Quran. I read one of the things that stuck out with me today was reading Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, and the explanation of that. I haven't read that in a while, and how it's not pro-slavery. It's actually an anti-slavery section of the Constitution. And then I read the Holy Quran, Circle 7. Anyway, I feel like I had a great read here. One of the things I wanted to tell you this morning, I woke up, and I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, at Whole Foods. I woke up this morning, and I heard noises around outside the room at American State, and I felt this sharp, dull pain in my right thigh. And it's like definitely simultaneously someone's making noise, and I felt a sharp, dull pain in my right thigh. One of the things I noticed here in Annapolis, Maryland, is there are quite a few people here that are overweight, and quite a few overweight. And now I am, as a Hebrew Muslim, my nationality is Moorish American, and I'm giving testimony. And sometimes they seem to be unkept, and definitely they have the science of telepathy. They definitely have the science of telepathy. So I noticed this here. I was like, there are a lot of people that are overweight or could be considered obese, and and it is interesting to see how this could possibly be. Now, I exercise. I jog, I walk, I try to do sit-ups, and to know that we are among a telepathic community, which Beye and I both reject. Beye and I, Ron Arrington-Bey, reject, where those that have this science are able to send sharp pains to the joints and cause mental illness. That sort of thing. It's truly interesting, because can't say everybody, but I'm pretty sure those that are overweight, and quite a few smoke cigarettes. So if they have an alcohol problem, I can imagine the hospitals making quite a lot of money here, So also. So in reference, and it's really interesting because like I said, in Annapolis there is the Fort Meade, the Army, base here, and there's the Navy. And I told you, I don't know if the other military forces, I don't know if they're operating where they have taken an oath or affirmed to uphold the constitutional code and all the amendments here. I have no idea, or if they are operating under a foreign jurisdiction. But I know that the president is commander-in-chief of, and if the president, so it makes me question if the president has been naturalized properly. That means upholding the proclamations of Abraham Lincoln, the 13th Amendment 20th section. As Moorish Americans, we are taught and encouraged to respect the military, the Navy, the Army, but that is those that are upholding and have affirmed or have taken an oath to uphold these divine laws of freedom. That's the energy and spirit of respect that we're supposed to give, not those who don't respect what this country was built on, and that is liberty. So that is definitely a question I ask. So when I see those that imply to be connected to the Army, the Navy, behave in an odd way, it makes me question, because President Abraham Lincoln definitely made it it known that there are some who are officers of the Navy and the Army who can never get back into the constitutional fold. So maybe he is definitely stating that they are treasonous for whatever reason. So it makes me wonder. So anyway, that's my testimony, and understanding that if those that are not, if we're among masses of people who are not in the constitutional fold, and they are behaving as such, and definitely, and we are among those who look like us but are not the same as us in spirit, but are aggressive, where they are speaking about marrying someone. They have the telepathic code. Like they're ready to breed. Some of the tactics I noticed that they do, for instance, I told you, Dwayne, about the baby, when I'm walking, I can definitely hear spirits speaking in the wind. And so if the same voice is speaking in the wind or around and outside the room, after a while, that same entity or that creation, that experiment, when you're out, some of these unclean spirits, they'll start saying that's her husband. And by them saying that's her husband, that entity or that spirit, that experiment can attack your womb. And then one of them will start speaking, that's her husband, and a visual can appear, because they're using this science to breed these spirits, these unclean spirits. So a visual can appear, like a black Negro male can appear, and then they'll say, oh, that's her husband. He's the only one that's doing it. So this is what some of the tactics that I noticed that these spirits do, and using this science of telepathy in an abusive manner, trying to breed these unclean spirits with soulful Moors. Another thing I noticed that they can do is, if one of them invades your spirit, I told you so many times when I've had dreams of the black Negroes sending R&B music, or trying to, like for instance, singing R&B music using a lyric, that sort of thing, and saying I love you outside their neck. So you know, that too can be a form of them trying to engage forcefully. Another thing they can do is invade your mind, where you think you have an attraction for one of these spirits, and it also could be the Spanish speaking as well, because though they too have behave in an aggressive manner. Pale skin, so you have unclean spirits and all, but this is I would say some of my experiences have been mainly with the black Negro, and then that which that which speaks Spanish, in reference to trying to engage in an affectionate way, okay, a manner. The pale skin seem to just be aggressive and causing harm, and these unclean spirits. But these two groups seem to be the most aggressive in trying to engage in an affectionate way. And Malik Beye and I don't know anyone here personally. So but this is what we are among when we're dealing with unclean spirits that have this science of telepathy that they are using to breed these males and females as slaves with soulful Moors on a plantation, because we are among a plantation. And so another thing I wanted to give testimony about, because so if they're attacking your womb, sometimes I notice when my genitals are attacked in a sexual manner, sometimes they could be eating. Like while I was reading today, my sacred womb was attacked. I'm at Whole Foods. People are eating. You have kids running around talking, and this is in the open. That is a form of cannibalism. That is a form of cannibalism, and that is also in connection to engagement. So, because what they're trying to do is engage, and then establish some form of authority over your mental state, your affection, your emotions. All right, and this is once again another breeding technique. So hopefully they think that possibly it's hard to lower my thoughts and think in a sadistic, unclean way, but I try to think of what would, if I was a demonic incubus, a spirit, a succubus who can't recycle the same energy to the spirit of earth and the universe, what would I be thinking when I'm engaging with a spirit and soul in that manner? So they're trying to, and if I'm being used to do so. So if you're trying to engage, if you know you cannot approach a soul on a physical plane without legal and lawful things happening, where I can actually call the police and have a person report harassment, okay? Or my son Imani Gray can call the police. If they know that they can't do that, what's the next step? You see, Dwayne Beye, this is that is a very sick and demonic thought, but we are among imbalanced, unclean, extremely unclean spirit. Not all, but too many. Not all, but too many. What else I noticed when they start speaking of marrying these unclean spirits that have the science of telepathy. Trying to think of what else I noticed. A lot of times they speak of your son. So if the males behave this way, okay, males, you know the females are that way as well. And they and like I said, the most aggressive has been that unclean spirit, the black Negro. But then the Spanish, a large amount of them seem to be from Mexico, also have behaved in that manner. But not all. But a large amount. Too many. Okay? I didn't go to work today because I don't work on Saturdays. A large amount of the people that that eat at Burger King, that come to Burger King, I told you this all the time, are the black Negro, and unless they claim a nationality, those that speak Spanish, large amount of them seem to be from Mexico, or else some of them are El Salvadorians or El Salvador and other places, but large amounts seem to be from Mexico. And then the pale skin. I rarely see anyone from other countries. Rarely. I mean, those are the three main groups. Rarely I see someone from China or India or from Europe. The pale skin is usually from this landmass, or have been in this landmass for a while. But I didn't have to work today. So what I'm going to do is go exercise. So the main thing I wanted to say that I realized in my testimony is in Annapolis, there's quite a few people here that are overweight, smoke cigarettes, and that are not healthy physically. And I find it interesting because they have the science of telepathy. And here you would think if they have this science, health should be the main goal for citizens of this nation, health. But not some of them missing teeth. I told you some of them they can send sharp pains where you can have toothache. So what I think about sometimes is how many of these people that are overweight maybe wanted to exercise, but when they tried to, they fell prey of someone sending a sharp pain to them, or they received so many or experienced so many sharp pains from other unclean spirits that their teeth fell out, their gums swelled up, and their teeth fell out. Cannibalism, that is when someone is attacking your genitals in an open where people are eating in a sexual manner. That is a form of cannibalism. So that would be some of the things I would like to give testimony about. Let me see. Is there anything else I would like to say? Oh, I noticed sometimes they keep saying 33, the number 33. Now, it's obviously this is 33 can be thought of as a degree, but in this case, in reference being among a telepathic community, it is a signal. That's another slave code for them. because if they had higher thoughts, they would behave as such. They use 33 as a degree to control, not a degree, a mirage, a facade as a degree to control these people that have the science of telepathy. And so they, and then in that, it's just like saying 3 or 33, or giving them a signal. You wonder, it's like if they have the code, then they can get a signal to go eat out all the time. Okay, go be consumers. All right, so definitely that's what I see 33 is. So sometimes when I'm working, and if I glance up and the time is like 6:33, all of a sudden I hear a spirit make a noise. Like it could be for a reason why one of them could have engaged, whatever it could be. But Allah gave us a tool to counteract all unclean spirits that try to engage, but you got to have the tool, you got to have the thought to do so. I know 33 is not in my thought process is the same as it's in theirs. That is a manner to keep masses of them as slaves, and they use this as a code to keep them as slaves. They might call it a degree for them, okay, but that's for them. But as a Hebrew Muslim or Moorish American, we are on a higher thought process, on a different journey, and we have different goals, okay? We are not here to amalgamate and breed with unclean spirits that are not like us. Islam.